and black raw. In the projects, wrist is whipping that black hard. I'm the same. My skills is whipping that crack hard. Look at LeBron James. The black guard got big lips and black bras. As soon as I leave Earth, it's back to the stars. Right to job lives with jewelers and girls. It's axe knives if I rule the world. Yo, my mental vision, setting up intuition, and you really don't have nothing if you intuition. I work with light just to give birth to life. I was born in all forms in the perfect night. The black god got big lips and black bras. As soon as I leave Earth, it's back to the stars. I am the ruler, just like the lion that drew my third eye, which feels like an iron computer that's dark matter and deep thought making your heart shatter. I sleepwalk, talking with smart chatter, so I don't need you to ride or die with me. I got ancestors that vibe from the other side with me, and they beam up life after death. We got noses on our eyes cause the light suppress my priceless flesh. The final copy looked like Anunnaki. Black guard got big lips and black raw. In the projects, wrist is whipping that black hard. I'm the same. My skills is whipping that crack hard. Look at LeBron James. The black guard got big lips and black bras. As soon as I leave Earth, it's back to the stars. Right to job lives with jewelers and girls. It's axe knives if I rule the world. Yo, the black guard got big lips and black bras. In the projects, Rich is whipping that black hard. My rhymes the same. My skills is whipping that crack hard. Look at LeBron James, that nigga's a black heart. And you wonder why we spit lead. Just the old raps, niggas got big heads like old Max. Way that I'm writing is more than vain. This is the age of enlightenment. Read the Moors in Spain. Now that your honor, I pray to a black vagina. Even the Pope prayed to the black Madonna. In the sun, I shine as bright as I be. I'm the greatest of all time, like Muhammad Ali. And when I die, baptized in the fire. Only flat night, black skies are higher. Prior to job, my lives with jewelers and girls. It's sex knives if I rule the world, rubies and pearls. The black guard got big lips and black bra. In the projects, wrist is whipping that black hard. I'm the same. My skills is whipping that crack hard. Look at LeBron James. The black guard got big lips and black bras. As soon as I leave Earth, it's back to the stars. Right to job lives with jewelers and girls. It's axe knives if I rule the world. Yo, the black guard, from infinite to infinite stars. It's infinite light. My life's got an infinite charge. The instruments to implement to give strength to your heart. The temple within, the imprint mimic the art. Into the dark, the dragon spark the fathom from a higher consciousness. I talk with atoms. I live in the land and I live in the stars. Original man, I am the image of God. Call me type, I'm Amen. I cut diamonds, so as long as I live, nothing can stop shining. You gon' need to be in the biz to drive me crazy. Live on CNN, hearing cries from Haiti. You know the people down there trying to hide them babies. The black guards, surrounded in light, attract stars. Black guards, surrounded in light, attract stars. The black guards, surrounded in light, attract stars. I told you, all of my critics, I told you all, that I was the biggest of all time. All of you, I know you got it. I know you got it. But the man that comes, I'm gonna show you how great I am. I told you, I'm the real champion. I told you, I'm the champion of all. All of you know, all of my critics, all of you know. Peace. Let me see something. Let me make sure my audio and everything is intact. Peace to all the Aborigines, North, South, Central, and as well as the conjoining islands. You're now rocking with your brother A1, aka Autogenous One, aka Ahanu Kiel. Shout out to all the Aborigines, North, South, Central, and the conjoining islands. Alright, we're gonna go into a little short build. Before I go pick my daughter up, I'm gonna probably do a part 2 of it when I get back. But do me a favor, y'all. If y'all can share the video, cause there's only 14 people up in here. I don't even see it on when I went on my YouTube channel. I didn't even see my video. I see it when I go to my home channel, but I don't see it pop up like just in the random videos that subscribe to. So if you can share the video out, please share it out. So hold on 1 second, people.
All right, now we got 15 people watching. All right, well, we're gonna get it done anyway. So, all right, so let me go into something real quick. All right, before we get into the build, let's go into what we always go into. Always remember this. All right, always remember that the current education system that you are currently under, as well as some of our children and some of other individuals who currently looking to go to a school of higher knowledge. Let's remember exactly where it always came from. So you always got to think critical anytime it comes to information, especially for us, for the most part, with this history right here. This history was hidden purposely so that we can be classified as Africans, and pretty much that's it, right? To take us away from the land, to keep us in constant confusion, and also to basically lump all so-called melanated people up around the world and make a story about us being from Africa. Everybody around the world from Africa. I don't care. Like I said, if it's islands or lands that haven't been explored or haven't been found, if they find black people there, they're going to come up with some type of explanation or some type of theory or hypothesis to how these individuals got there as well, right? So remember, there is a mainstream narrative in which they never want you to deviate from, right? All right, so remember this general education system. We shall not try to make any of these people or any of their children into philosophers or men of learning or of science. We have not to rise up from them, among them, authors, editors, poets, men of letters. We shall not search for embryo, great artists, painters, musicians, nor shall we cherish even the humbler ambition to rise up from among them lawyers, doctors, preachers, politicians, statesmen, of whom we have an ample supply of. The task we set before ourselves is very simple, as well as a beautiful one, to train these people as we find them to a perfect ideal life, just where they are. Okay? So always keep that in mind. Let's see. And remember, in our dreams, we have limited resources, and people yield themselves with perfect docility to our molding hands. So, with that being said, let's get into the presentation. All right, so do a little recap, follow up on what AP was running the other day, but I'm gonna just add a little bit of my opinion to it, right? So let me just make sure. All right, all right, let's start here.
Self-esteem that's vulnerable to the slightest criticism. Emotional personality disorder causes problems in many areas of life, such as relationships.
Press one for me if you guys heard that. Press two if you can't hear the audio. I know I had to mute my mic, so I know it probably gonna have a little static or some background noise. But just press one for me if you heard the audio in which I was playing. So let me go back here. All right. We got two. All right. We got a couple ones, couple one, two. All right. So let me mute my mic. I'm gonna play the audio while my mic is muted, and I'm gonna come back to the screen. So if you can hear the audio, just press one for me again.
Work, school, or financial affairs. People with narcissistic personality disorders may be generally unhappy and disappointed when they are not given the special favors or admiration they believe they deserve, and others may not enjoy being around them. Treatment for narcissistic personality disorder centers around talk therapy. So let's talk about it because we're dealing with people who are narcissistic, psychopathic, and sociopathic. So the fake $5 Indians. I did a short version on this information. This is going to be the longer version. The Dawes Rolls and the legacy of $5 Indians. Dawes Rolls rife with opportunistic white men and early appropriation. All right. Alyssa Landry, March 21st, 2017. It may be fashionable to play Indian now, but it was also trendy 125 years ago when people paid $5 a piece for falsifying documents declaring them natives on
All right. Somebody says it's a little muffled. So let me see if I can go on my audio and set the settings. Echo cancellation. Restore the auto mic adjust. All right, peoples. I think we good. Let me see something. All right, I'm gonna play it again. So we should be good. I don't know what the fuck going on.
the Dawes Roll. These so-called $5 Indians paid government agents under the table in order to rip rip the benefits that came with having Indian blood. Mainly white men with an appetite for land. Okay, understandable. Chief of the Cherokee Nation, Bill John Baker, was born in Cherokee County, Oklahoma, where his family has been for 4 generations. And we spoke about this before that this is English and Irish of mixed ethnicity, like many Cherokee citizens. So many of the Cherokee citizens are mixed ethnicities. But let's look at his ethnicity. He is 1 over 32, or rather 3.1% Cherokee by blood. 3.1% Cherokee. So he's not even 10%. Hell, he's not 5% Cherokee by blood. But yet he's the chief. And we spoke about this before. He graduated from Tahlequah High School in 1969, the year I was born, and from Northeastern State University in 1972 with a bachelor's degree in political science and history. According to the Black Book, on page 88, the Acts of 1785, chapter um, LXXV111. It says every person whose grandfathers or grandmothers anyone is or shall have been a Negro, although all his outer progenitors, except that descended from the Negro shall have been white persons, shall be deemed a mulatto. And so every person who shall have one fourth or more Negro blood shall in like manner be deemed a mulatto. This act is to be in force from January the 1st, 1787. Now, continue on. According to the Act of 1910, and I quote, every person having 1/16 or more Negro blood shall be deemed a colored person. And every person not a colored person, hold on, and every person not a colored person having one fourth or more Indian blood shall be deemed an Indian. One fourth. So one fourth is 25%. Right or wrong?
Right?
Okay. Now, I just want to make sure that I'm not tripping.
Nah, you ain't tripping.
All right. So it says one fourth or more Indian blood shall be deemed the Indian. 132. Now, 130 over 32 or 3.1% is not one fourth, which is 25%, or more Indian blood shall be deemed an Indian.
It's not even 1/6.
No. You see, this is why I guess some people didn't do very well with fractions in school. Okay.
Right.
But he's the chief of the Cherokee Nation. Here's some more chiefs, the Toma. So they're in the same state. This one here, he has blue eyes. So you know he ain't even got 3.1%.
So the property and everything.
Right?
But one,
Well, they have a check every month to a tribe that is state and federally recognized does. Every month they get a check.
wow.
Yes, for reparations.
All right, being said, I'm just gonna just show something real quick, man. Shout out to everybody in the house. Definitely hit the like button, share it if you can. If you like to support the channel, so definitely support the brothers. But check it out, right? So boom. So he showed the so-called Cherokee tribe. So now look. Now, most people, when we see, all right, the Cherokee Nation acknowledge that the descendants of peoples once enslaved. Now, look, this is the narrative. The narrative is always that you was a slave. That's why it's best to give them people back give them back their condition and deal with the slavery, because we know we wasn't slaves. We know it was Negro slave owners. We know it was all these Negro free people. But everybody that try to claim something, they always called the slave. Everybody who made any invention, they always called the slave. Everybody's always called a slave until you put that out there. Then wait a minute, it was black slave owners in all of these states. It was black freemen in all of these states. So why everybody? So we know everybody wasn't a slave. So even by them just saying that, you already can see the deception in it because we know everybody wasn't according to their records. I know for sure these people wasn't slaves. The original Cherokees look like them. So how they going to enslave their own self? You understand what I'm saying? But these people been reclassified. They've been reclassified. They had a history. They look, they've been reclassified and they got a history that been created for them, right? So in the process of them creating that history, now they're trying to go back and say they Indian. Now we just seen a European. The European got 130, he got 130, 1 over 31. You know what? I'm good with math sometimes when I'm focused on it. I don't even know what the statistics of that is. You know what I'm saying? Because I know, like, if we counting, like, all right, let's say, like he gets said, 25%, right? Let's say 100% is the whole, right? Look, 100% is the whole. Check this shit out, y'all. 100% is the fucking whole, right? So a quarter of 100% will be 1/4. So that means you got 25% out of the 100. Half of it will be 2/4, and more than three quarters of it will be 3/4. So I don't know what the fuck 1/31st, one over 31% is. I don't understand that whatsoever, right? But check it out, right? So now look, we see the Cherokee Nation acknowledges that descendants of people once enslaved. Now look, we know these people wasn't enslaved. They was affected by something else. And I'm gonna get to it because I had a couple of different videos and we're gonna come back into it. But as you see, remember the Mongols and the people of the Cherokee Nation, they don't even, them people was nowhere near the Appalachian Mountain. Because remember the Anayawiya or Muskogee, they using these terms when they want to use it. Sometimes they Choctaw, sometimes they Chickasaw, sometimes they Choctaw, sometimes they Cherokee, sometimes they Seminole, sometimes they the other side, I can't remember. But they overall will be Muskogee. They are all Muskogee. All of them will be Muskogee. Okay? So let's get back into it, right? I just wanted to just give you this observation, right? A matter of fact, you know what? I'm gonna read a little bit of it, all right? So it say Winetta Laurie stands with others at the Oklahoma State Capitol on March 27, 2007, during a demonstration by several Cherokee freemen and their supporters, right? So it's a long-standing dispute over who can be considered a citizen of the Cherokee Nation finally comes to a conclusion this week. Now check this out. Keep this in mind, right? Now, that European, right? We know where Europeans came from. We know white people wasn't indigenous here. So how can he be a chief with 131% or 131%, whatever the fuck, however you would say it, or get a mathematical explanation of it, right? So how can he be the chief? You understand? And what percentage of people, what percentage of so-called Indian do you think these brothers got and these sisters got in them? You understand what I'm saying? But yet they using this, right? The United States government and the Bureau of Indian Affairs put them people in that place for a reason. They put them people in place so now that they can dictate who can be in there and who can't. And part of it is to basically say Negroes can't be in it. But that's why me myself, I always push the fact that Negroes been in America to get past these asinine reasons for the reason why our people was being done the way we being done, right? So Cherokee Nation Supreme Court. So they had to go to Supreme Court, and Cherokee Nation ruled on Monday that the tribal nation removed the phase by blood from its construction and other tribal laws. That change formalities acknowledges that the descendants of black people once enslaved by the tribe known as the Cherokee Freemen. Now think about this. I'm gonna go further in on it, right? But look, the areas where the Cherokee so-called supposed to have been residing at, it wasn't no Mongoloids there. Wasn't no Mongoloids there, right? Wasn't no Mongoloids there, right? We know that the white man came here as a slave. And he has another story of him coming here bringing slaves. But no, he came here as a slave. He came here as a slave, right? And now, on the other hand, the so-called Negroes, they came here as a slave. So a combination between the mixture of both of them, who would be the real Indian? And like I said, I've had these conversations. These are some of my earliest work of just trying to make a distinction and trying to just be clear on exactly what we reading and what's going on, or what our level of understanding is when it comes to this, right? Okay. So where the fuck was I at? All right, so it's saying the change formally acknowledges that descendants of black people once enslaved by a tribe known as the Cherokee Freemen have the right to tribal citizenship, which means they are eligible to run for tribal office and access resources that such as tribal health care, right? The recent decision by the Cherokee Nation Supreme Court is a response to a 2017 ruling by a U.S. District Court, which determined that the descendants of the Cherokee Freemen are entitled to a full tribal citizenship rights under a treaty that the Cherokee Nation made with the U.S. in 1866. Now remember this too, right? A lot of them treaties was done by agents, wasn't done by us because we were still residing in our land. We wasn't part of the government that was we created priorly was the United States for America, right? But somehow they created all these schools and then put a lot of these Negroes in a lot of these places, and they used the Negroes as the basically they used them as the the people who tell us who we are. Oh yeah, we're slaves and all this other nonsense, right? But however it go, let's get back into it, right?
So this is why they don't want to be black. They want to be Indian, you know, because as we just finished seeing, they want to live off the land.
So
But the
I
land actually are monthly checks.
may I understand this correct? Are you saying that they
The Aboriginals or copper colored races found here by the Europeans, but now applies to the descendants of Europeans born in America. So see, this is how the Pilgrims became the chiefs.
So just to add some clarity to that, right? So hold on, give me 1 second. I just want to pull something up for a second. Yeah, I think it might be fair to start here. Matter of fact, we can start here. All right, and like I said, this is for these fucking clowns, man, because there's a lot of agents, right? A lot of people that come up here and they got some type of problem, man. I don't even know what their they have to assess their whatever their health or mental condition and definitely diagnose them with whatever they got going on with them, because a lot of this shit is simple. There's no sound. Oh shit, my bad. Let me see something. Hold up. Fuck. All right, give me mic check, mic check, mic check. Mic check, mic check. We good? All right, look, let me know if we good. I'm just gonna play a little bit. I'm gonna play a little bit, then I'm gonna go back into my bag on what I'm about to do, right? Because I'm gonna be going back and I'm gonna be going from the video into my personal research, right? All right, so look.
By saying and claiming that they're American. So now they can join this course, $5 Indians, the Doss Roll, and the legacy of the $5 Indians. This is how this is happening, how that has happened. So pale Europeans masquerading as Indians, $5 Indians, whose genetic blueprint, their DNA does not correspond to the founders of the Miramar archaeological site in Argentina, or the Hayo Atico archaeological site in Villas um, Suelo.
All right, he gonna go into something, but let me get right because I already had it pulled up, right? So it say what? A Native of America originally applied to the Aborigines or copper color races, right? Let's stop at the comma right there, right? You see, there's a comma, right? Found here by Europeans, right? So when we get into these individuals in which Dr. Eileen Bay is showing, these individuals right here, these are Europeans. These people are not copper color. They're not copper color. So how the fuck is the niggas the fucking chiefs of anything, right? You know why they're chiefs? Because they didn't stole your history, right? And then they put you here. They placed you in this situation. The Cherokee Nation acknowledges that descendants of people once enslaved. Okay, well, white people was enslaved. Negroes was free the whole time, except the descendants of the children of the Slavic mothers. Yeah, some of them was slaves, right? Who got freed or manumission by their father, right? But how's all these niggas descendant of slaves? Because it goes back to this, right? It goes back to this right here, right? In our dreams, we have a limited resources, and the people yelled themselves with perfect docility to our molding hands. So in that case right there, right? These people right here have been molded. They done been molded so bad that they don't know their heritage. They forgot exactly who they were. Well, I'm not going to say they forgot because they know that somebody in their family said that they was an Aborigine, right? And they know in the back of their mind that all the Indians that they know look like them, but they're still going by the general education system. They're still dealing with this right here. And this is what a lot of people who is dealing with this. And like I said, man, people go to college and people go and trust into these people, and they don't never want to feel like they've been deceived. They don't want to feel like they've been, and they don't think that they don't feel as though they've been deceived, and they don't think that these people will even be that diabolical to deceive you in the way that we have been deceived, right? But once again, right, we go back, boom, Webster, a native of America originally applied to the Aboriginals or copper color races, right? Found here by Europeans, but not even found here by Europeans. Because remember, the Europeans were slaves; they was brought here, right? But the Europeans in which are that we know by or we know look like this. They look like this. There they go right here. So how the fuck is they if it wasn't nothing diabolical done, then how the fuck did these niggas become the fucking Indians when we got a clear definition and clear representation? A Native of America originally applied to an Aboriginal or copper color races found here, right? So look, with that couple images of what we see the Aboriginals looking like, right? More images, right? This is actually a statue, but this is also a Negro from Mexico or the Yucatan. Remember, the Yucatan is connected to Florida. So actually, Florida, if we want to say that, right? You see, they don't look nothing like no Europeans, right? But let's continue. We got some more images. And they already know. This should be a meme right here. I'm going to make a meme out of this shit. Okay? I'm going to make a meme out of this. They already know. And in the spiritual world, they hearing everything we saying, and this is their expression to the shit that we hearing. Look how they looking. They, they done it again, right? Look. Beautiful sister, too. She beautiful. She beautiful as hell, too. Look. Negro. If we see her anywhere, we see her on Instagram, if we see her anywhere on the planet, right? Or anywhere in America, right? She will automatically be designated as a Negro, right? It wouldn't be no assumptions. It wouldn't be no, oh, let me see your DNA. Let me see what your DNA say, right? Because the DNA doesn't. Most people was classified by optically through perception, right? They was classified by perception. They didn't read off these numerous people and classify them as Negroes, black and colored, because they had their DNA in front of them. According to lookership or your bioptic vision, right? You assume or you classified and created a term for the people who was melanated or copper color. You created a term just for them, right? Let's continue. King Powhatan, as we always see. This is in Virginia. So if the Virginians look like this, right? Remember, Virginia was part of North Carolina until they changed it. Until they changed it. I think after Charles V or either Charles the second or Charles V, one of them or whatever, they made the term Carolina. But Carolina actually come from Tuscarora. But that's a whole nother story, right? But in Virginia, if the Negroes looked at like this, then that would mean that the Negroes looked at like this also in Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Tennessee, Alabama, Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Florida, all the way into the Yucatans as we see, right? Look at this guy. Look like somebody's grandfather. He's not a mestizo or mongoloid. Okay? So just knowing that we have these individuals right here, right? That are basically chiefs of tribes. Chiefs of tribes because of the Bureau of Indian Affairs, and they created the Dawes Road, and they created most of the 5 civilized tribes. Cause most of them places was areas in which people wasn't really called, had no tribes, called no Cherokee, no Creek, no Choctaw. Them are areas, and in some cases they're nicknamed. The original tribe would be the Aniyawe or the Muskogee. All them other names that they give you are nothing but either areas, towns or places or nicknames. Okay? But these guys, right? Even though we know this, America, Native America originally applied to the Aboriginal copper color races because they place you in this status right here. The Cherokee Nation acknowledges that the descendants of people once enslaved, they have never been a clear contention on what is the ethnicity in the Americas without them creating it and saying it's the Mongoloids. Okay? So anytime you see people who look like this, right? Somehow they gave you their term, South, and then they applied it on us, right? They applied it on us through their what? Through the school system. In our dreams, we have limited resources, and the people yield themselves with perfect docility to our molding hands. So they done molded people's minds so bad to where people don't even know who they are. They saying that they from a continent that they never been to. None of their ancestors came from that continent over here on boats. In fact, the people who telling you the story family came over here on boats. And their ancestors was the slaves. So how the fuck do that work? Well, let's continue. All right, so we got this brother right here. Let me see something. That's AP going at 3:30. So I'm gonna rock this out to probably about maybe 2:30. I'll do part 2 in the morning. I was trying to do it this morning, but my goddamn computer, I had to delete some shit that was on my computer because my computer was running slow. I was trying to do this shit early this morning, but however it go, I'll just chop it up. We can get back to part 2 either after AP go live or I do it the first thing in the morning. Okay, so let's continue. Hold up. All right. So all these people are descendants of slaves, right? All these people are descendants of slaves, right? All this is imaginary dress up Halloween 24/7, right? All of this is we're foolish people, right? We're not these people, right? But let's continue, right? I think this is Erica Badu. And if it's not, it's just an image. It might be Erica Badu. I found this image right here. I don't know if it is, but they represent themselves as Aborigines. Okay. More people who we would classify and we would identify as being copper colored or black, Negro, or fucking colored, right? Check this out. And I actually did this when I debated this clown or whatever, went over some of this stuff right here. So some of the stuff is actually some of these images is actually from the debate I had, but I just wanted to just put it out there, just for the people or whatever. If you can use it, or you can definitely take heed to what's going on, right? These is Negroes, okay? Nothing more, nothing less, right? And they actually ain't Negroes. They're actually American Aborigines, copper color races. But according to them and their classifications that was done behind our back, most of these classifications wasn't done. We didn't acquiesce into these class. We didn't even know what the fucking classifications meant. We knew in our mind who we were, but we didn't know how the classifications went. And then as people died off, some people never told people that their descendants was the Aborigines, right? But then we do have a lot of people who are claiming that they're descendants of the Aborigines, right? Well, let's continue, right? more images. Some more images, right? Look at this. Look, these are the Aborigines. Look, and these ain't even real. These are more images. These are not Africans. These are American Aborigines. See this? Some more images, copper color races, right? Another drawing. Some more images. Same thing that Powhatan had on, or King Powhatan. Same thing we see with the so-called Timucuans or the Muskogee. We see this dress all through the Americas, right? And we know that what this dress come from, right? This is found in American Indian Statue, San Diego, Fort Museum in Apico, Mexico, right? And you see Cormeo did it, but actually the brother who found this was oh my God, what the fuck is my man name? He's a Pan-African. He just died. Oh my God, I can't think of his name. Heavy set brother with glasses. It's gonna come to me. Renoki Rashidi. He actually was the one. I actually seen this first when he posted it or whatever. Probably some years back or whatever. But this is what they found. And you see that same dress all through the Americas. So this is by mistake. This is a descendant of a fucking slave. No, this is what the original people looked at like here. Now they look like this, right? They look like this, right? And then they look like the mestizo, mongoloid type, blend type people, right? These motherfuckers is Europeans. In their definition, they claim that we was found here by who? By Europeans, nigga. Okay? By Europeans, right? So in some cases, the American is what? American is the native, or I mean, Native America originally applied to the Aboriginals, right? So an Aboriginal is an American, right? But now what? Found here by Europeans, but now applied to descendants of Europeans, right? So understand this, right? Outside, just from let's say a macro standpoint, right? This is the reason why they claiming to be Americans, because they know that the Americans are the Aborigines. There are no other Americans except the Aborigines. So with them claiming to be American, they also claiming to be Aborigines in some cases. Now, I'm not saying everybody who say that they're American claim that they're American Indians, but look at this shit right here. Okay? I'm gonna let this rock. Just give me 1 second. I'm just gonna land my plane with that one. More images. Y'all done seen them images. Y'all done seen these as well. Look. So these people were slaves? These people don't look like they no fucking slaves, man. Or look like they don't know nothing about no slavery, brother. Look at Pop in the back. Pop even got his motherfucking feather crown tilted. And it's a feather crown, it's not a war bonnet. Okay? He even got that joint tilted. Look. Like niggas be tilting their fucking fitted hats, right? So they got a shit tilted, man. So these were slaves too, right? So these people were slaves too, right? Or like I said, we're gonna get into this because it's a lot of stuff to go through, okay? Look at the sister right here. Look just like somebody's grandmother. And she probably over 100 years old in this picture. She's probably over 100 years old in this picture, my dude. All right, so now look, remember, copper color races, right? Copper color races, right? These are the different derivatives of what they call copper, right? Rustic brown, tan, yellowish brown, reddish brown, burnish, etc., right? The same different variations of all of these freaking pennies, right? So if they created a term for who the Americans are, they even gave us a description of what these people race or phenotype or ethnicity would consist of, right? How the fuck did these people right here was able to hijack who your ancestors was, and you got to go through them once again for you to get to pay their, for you to get to where you need to go. You got to go through these same people once again. That's why the establishment, you have to establish that it was black people here first. You can't fall under the mind spell to even consider yourself to be a slave. This should be insulting at this point in time. You was descended, especially if it's being applied by somebody who don't know, or somebody who just generalizing, thinking that, okay, well, you was a slave. Okay, so let's continue, right? So I'm gonna go back out. Let me see something real quick. Let's go back in. Hold on, you said, hold on, I'm sorry. You said what? Zoom out on that picture. Which picture? Sister L, the one with the older lady, or the one with the Powhatan right here? This one with the Nasser Garrett. Look, every freaking agent. Okay, but check this out. Everybody else in this freaking picture could be anybody your ancestors. All of them. Everybody in this picture right here. You see a whole group of Negroes claiming that they American Aborigines, and motherfuckers is thinking that these people are trying to hijack and steal somebody's culture. But let's continue, right? Because it was something else. You know what? Hold on, let me see something real quick. Okay, boom. All right, I know where I wanted to go. I'm gonna rock. I'm gonna let this rock out a little bit because we're gonna go through. We got a couple of different videos up here that we're gonna have to run through. So just bear with me. I'm gonna let some more of this rock out, and I'll probably start back from where it ended. But you know what? Real quick, before I let that rock, I'm gonna let this video right here rock. Okay, I'm gonna let this one rock. Right? Check this out. Listen to this shit. And these are all Moors, by the way, right? That's saying this shit. Eileen Bay is a Moor. And his brother right here, Moors in America, right? He's also Moor. So let me go back out. Let me mute my mic and let's get with it.
Extinct. Okay, we have a court case, a land dispute, where you have nearly 80. We have a court case, a land dispute, where we have declares an entire tribe extinct. Okay, we have a court case, a land dispute, where you have nearly 80 tribe members of the Montauk tribe who come to court. Their chief, okay, Wyandotte Farrell, the chief of the tribe of the Montauk Indians, is there, and he's telling the Supreme Court judge to recognize him as the chief of the tribe and to nullify any land deals that are going on between tribe members and some of the other residents, white residents or people of European descent. You had greedy railroad companies and different people who were scheming to take the tribal lands from them. And basically, they were trying to get whatever land rights they had nullified. Okay, they had an agreement for the land where they owned it perpetually. So no one's supposed to be able to take it from them. So what were they doing in this court case? They're trying to finagle them out of their rights. What happens? Judge Abel Blackmar declares the entire tribe of Montauk Indians extinct, and he uses what happens? Judge Abel Blackmar declares the entire tribe of Montauk Indians extinct, and he uses race as his basis for the claim. They even point at the chief, and he asks other residents you can win little cases or you can get some kind of rights and stuff. Temp is
For about 6 minutes, and y'all ain't hear no sound. Hold up for a second. Give me a 1 if you heard a sound. Give me a 2 if you didn't hear a sound. So let me go back out. All right, I'm gonna go back, but let me know if y'all can hear it this time. Before I ain't gonna step away this time because I had to. My neighbor was at the door, so I'm sorry about that. But you know this shit happens sometime with the StreamYard shit. So just bear with me. All right, I'm gonna mute my mic.
we have a court case, a land dispute, where you have nearly 80 tribes on the court. Their chief, one of the Montauk Indians, is there, and he's telling the Supreme Court judge to recognize him as the chief of the tribe and to nullify any land deals that are going on between some of the other residents, railroad companies, and different people who were scheming and they were trying to get whatever land rights they had nullified. Okay, they had an agreement for the land where they owned perpetually. So what happens? Judge Abel Blackmar, the entire tribe, Montauk Indians, extinct, and he uses race as his basis for the claim. They even point at the chief, and he asks other residents in the area if they know the chief, if they think Pharaoh is an Indian, and they have these other residents of European descent. Everybody's European descent. They're all like, well, his hair is really kinky. His skin's brown. He's a Negro. He's a mulatto. He's a Negro. You know, everybody's saying this, right? All their quote unquote witnesses, right? And so this is the basis of the claim. The judge declares the tribe extinct. Okay, and he says they've been mixing too much, and you know that basically they're just Negroes, and so that these can't be the Indians. All right, and this is the biggest part of that claim, and this is how they took their land from them, and this was happening all over the country. So, and let me tell you something about that. I mean, like, you guys probably don't care. You don't care about the words or any of this stuff. That's a childish way of looking at it, because even taking on that term black, when you look at it from a legal perspective, you got the Black's Law Dictionary. You can look and see what black means. Black makes you legally dead, you know? Civiliter mortis. I mean, if you've had any exposure to Latin, you know, any Latin-based languages like, you know, Spanish, Portuguese, you know, Italian, French, all that stuff, you know, mortis means morte, means dead. Okay, civilly dead. And then if you understand this, there's no wonder why you know black people had to fight for their civil rights. Okay, these are people who were declared civilly dead. And these were the Native Americans for the most part. You did have people who were brought over here from Africa, but for the most part, all the people who are considered black today were already here. Okay, and we've got several instances. We have paper trails, okay, of court cases and laws being changed and declared where, like, whole tribes, entire tribes are being declared Negroes. Okay. And in the case that I was just talking about, this is actually a big deal. And you can go and look all of this stuff up. It's going on my site, it's going in the book, it's all there for you, right? There's a paper trail. Okay, and this is how the Montauk Indians became extinct. So when they tell you, which I hear a lot of people regurgitating and saying, well, all the Indians got killed out and blah blah. This is how they became extinct. This is how they became extinct. Just with words, semantics, word games. I know a lot of people are turned off from the more nationality, the information, and that's because of the people that are delivering it. You know, maybe you're looking at how they're living, you're looking at them, and maybe you have some people who are scheming, who are trying to this is off topic, but you have people that are scheming, that are trying to squat in houses, trying to say they're sovereign and all this mess that has nothing to do with the movement. Okay, I get that, and it's turning you off, but I'm not saying that's the only way to do it, but that's a part of it, man. It's a part of how you got tricked out of who you really are. Okay. And I mean, if you want to put your head in the sand, that's fine. Like, I get it. There was a big push to, for all of us to come under the umbrella of being black. And in some ways it's good. You got people that are real light complected, like Farrakhan, and he's black, and people that are dark skinned, we black. And we're all black. And that's cool. And James Brown had the song "Black is Black." You have nothing, man. That's how come the police can kill you and not only get away with it, not even get prosecuted, man. They don't even go to trial. Never. They always throw it out. They never take this stuff to trial, because you don't have any civil rights. You really don't. You're legally dead. Okay. And anything that we have, like the right to vote, and sometimes you can win little cases, or you can get some kind of rights and stuff. These are all just temporary privileges that are granted to these people. These aren't actual rights. So if you want to keep going on under that umbrella, you're doing it with the knowledge, because you could just look in the Black's Law Dictionary and see the stuff for yourself, and know that this isn't just some BS. This is legal terminology. This is what is written into laws. This is what is going on in the court. The Supreme Court's a big deal. Every state has their own Supreme Court. Then you have.
All right, so boom. So he talked about the Montauks and the Pharaohs, right? And they also got a pyramid out there. I got some other images of them, but I just ain't gonna pull them up right now. So look. All right, so let's go ahead. So he mentioned the Montauk. So anybody from New York know where the Montauk's at? The Montauk's is out in the Hampton, like where the Hamptons is at. That'd be Long Island. So like Long Island area where the Montauk experiment and all that shit was done. That's where the original people who was in that area, that the people who he just put up on the screen dealing with the pharaohs, right? Them people resided in that area, and you see how the judge went back. So a European who ain't from here was able to dictate whether or not Negroes are Indians. So these people are the people that's able to go back and say who's Indians and who not. So what I got up here right now is the Shinnecock. Now the Shinnecock will be in pretty much the same area, Staten Island, Long Island area, and in some parts I've heard them to be all over New York. Mahata, all that shit. I believe all of these people was one united people, but they have different names according to the different areas or different places where they was residing at. Okay, but check it out, right? We see the Shinnecocks right here up on the screen, right? So this is 1975 powwow. 1975 power. And like I said, shout out to some of the brothers and sisters who do go to some of these powwows to chop it up with some of these people, because that's the next work. The next work is really getting out there and really telling the people from the perspective of what we already know. Oh, this picture ain't blowing up. It's not allowing me to blow it up. So let me see if I can click on it. All right, let me. Peace to my brother Carl, man. Carl, I hope everything been good, man. I ain't hear from you in a while, man. Peace to God, man. Peace to God. That's my brother. So let's see. Look, so think of that powwow image right there. We do see some mulattoes in the background, but the three people representing will definitely be classified as Negro. And she looked more like a Asian or like a Hispanic type of blend of people, but she can be a mulatto as well, right? So this is the Shinnecock right here. These are, you see the European, or this is a light skin sister right here, right? Obviously a Negro, obviously a Negro, obviously a Negro. Even though he looked like he been tampered with, but however it go, right? So look, check this out. So it say matter of fact, let's read a little bit of this, right? The Shinnecock people have been living on Long Island for approximately 13,000 years. Look, the Shinnecock been living in Long Island for approximately 13,000 years. They were once part of a larger group that inhabited all of the islands, like I was just saying, which also was a part of, an even larger group that included all of New England, right? So we get the New England, right? And New England area, Massachusetts area, and we get the power, the Master P Wapanaki, right? Now we can see these brothers right here been tampered with. We can see that these are mestizos. But this brother right here look like he is definitely a brother. He a brother. All of them like they could be brothers, or you have some people in your family who look like this. But they, in this case, they try to make these people the face of the actual tribes, right? So let me see something. A little powwow. Let me see. More images. Look. Some of the images. Let me see. Go back out. This is actually the chief daughter right here, Cedric Cromwell, right? You all seen the image of Cedric Cromwell, right? So now look, let's go back to the Shinnecock, right? So the Shinnecock, so it says what? The Shinnecock people have been living on Long Island for approximately 13,000 years, nigga. 13,000 years. There was once part of a larger group that inhabited all the islands, which also was part of an even larger group that included all of New England. The Shinnecock people understood that the traditions method that would sustain their people and others off the land and water. Okay, so you obviously see what's going on. Like I said, all of them tribes were somehow connected. Even the ones in Massachusetts and Connecticut, they was connected to the ones in New York as well. Okay. And remember, he said these so-called individuals been there for 13,000 years. 13,000 years, nigga. Okay, what do they look like? Some images of them. With some more images of them. Let's see something else. There's some more images. But like I said, a lot of these people are mestizos, man. Now, they are mestizos. Okay? So you see the Negro presence among the people in the back right here. Let me see what else we got. All right, so look, this guy's a Asian and shit. I don't know exactly where he came from, but let me see. Government. Let's see cultural. Let's see cultural resources. Let's see if we can find some more people. Look. Now look. Listen to this, right? Now in all of these tribes, what I've noticed is this, right? You got two type of people. You got the Negro stock, then you got the European stock. Now, we know white people is not indigenous to America, but on the same note that the so-called melanated people are deemed to be slaves that mixed in with the tribes. So you see how they confuse you. The melanated people are from Africa. The white people are not Indian. So who's the real Indian? So who was the Indian? It had actually had to be the copper colored races. And by my eyes, this nigga is copper colored. This brother is copper colored. This sister copper colored. You see some more copper colored people in the background, right? Let's see something. Government. Let's see. Let's see General Counsel. Let's see what they look like. If they got done, they ain't got no pictures for it. Let's see departments, public safety. All right, they ain't got much going on here. All right, so look, I'm gonna go back. Let me see. I'm gonna play a little bit more of the first video. I was playing this one. So
when did the Pilgrims become the chiefs? Is the question.
let me know if y'all can't hear.
You know it's bad when fake outrage of white Native Americans, i.e. paleface, aimed at African Americans representing their own Native American heritage is so blatant, racist, and hypocritical that even the mascots which they pretend to find offensive or embarrassed. So if you look at the real natives and how their skin is actually copper compared to those in which that state that, I mean, you look at the definition American, a native of America, originally applied to the Aboriginals or copper colored races found here by the Europeans, but now applies to the descendants of Europeans born in America. So, see, this is how the Pilgrims became the chiefs by saying and claiming that they are American. So now they can join the tribes called $5 Indians, the Doss Roll, and the legacy of the $5 Indians. This is how this is happening, how that has happened. So pale Europeans masquerading as Indians, $5 Indians, whose genetic blueprint, all right, their autosome DNA does not correspond to the founders of the Miramar archaeological site in Argentina or the Hayo Atico archaeological site in the Suelo Basin near Puebla, Mexico, or the Topper site in Allendale, South Carolina, or to the ancestors of the ancient pygmy skulls found in Holliston Mills, eastern Tennessee, or to the mound builders or to the ancestors of the ancient misnomer African migrants or migrations. The Southeastern Asians, the Australoids, the Oceans, and the Native American Siberian Mongolians or Mongoloids and other ancient Asiatic migrations. But they have managed to usurp our birthrights. So they are the culture vultures and benefit from this fraud for generations. As a true son of the soil, I do not recognize these imposters and charlatans. This falsity was created as a smokescreen or buffer by and for the corporate United States democracy and the corporate 50 states democracies to steal land, raw minerals, and natural resources from the true Ochitanis of the Americas. When the true Ochitanis speaks against this fraud, then the buffers can open their mouths and speak against the true Ochitanis on behalf of their corporate puppet masters. The days of this fraudulent act are over. thanks to DNA, genetic technology. Once again, the days of this fraudulent act are over. These acts are over. Thanks to DNA, genetic technology. These $5 Indians, aka paper Native Americans, was created through the stroke of a pen. And this is why we say that the pen is more mightier than the sword. You don't catch no real Washita going out here with no damn weapon and guns and shit. Talking about we can't go to we have those. Because we got the right in order to protect ourselves from criminals. But we're not going to go out here and shoot up nobody, shoot up no place, shoot up people. Not no real Washita. Because we understand that the pen is more mightier than the sword. We can write ourselves back into history. There ain't one so-called Native American $5 fake Indian come at me yet in order to debate me. They say they're little sly remarks, but come with the information. I come with hundreds of books. Let's do it. I'll issue a challenge to any so-called Native American, paleface, to any Egyptian, paleface, to any Jewish, paleface, and to anyone else who want to take up the banner. All I'm saying is that one would need to go and read information that we have already revealed, or at least for the last 15 years on YouTube. For 300 videos, in-depth information. So these $5 Indians, aka paper Native Americans, was created through the stroke of a pen and have made contracts in this fraud and received land and funds under this fraud in collusion with the Bureau of Indian Affairs, the BIA, and the Smithsonian Institute, who has hidden and destroyed thousands of artifacts to hide the fact that the very people degraded to the status of Negro, Black, and colored African Americans and Afro-Americans, African Americans are actually the first Paleo-Americans, or actually the first Paleo-Americans, or actually the first Paleo-Americans. Where fraud validates all forms of contract and makes them null, void, ab initio. Null and void. This is a violation of international law. And they have willfully neglected to deal with this fact. And this is why we won't find anyone to debate this information. We won't find anyone to debate me on this information. And none of these Negroes would now be out talking about any of this, because before 2009, the masses did not even know this information before the SETI debate. We did the SETI debate, me and SETI, on April the 19th, on my birthday, on my birthday, in 2009. And the people in there, when I gave the genetic information about the shovel teeth, they refused to raise their hands. Only about 3 people raised their hands. But then when I started to say, get them goddamn hands up, I say, this is a stick up. Get them goddamn hands up. stick up with the knowledge. All of a sudden, almost 400 people in the room, nearly everybody in the room, said they had shovel teeth. Now, right. Now this is amazing how it went from 3 to 400. So that means that they was lying to themselves. And this is the same thing that we see with the RBG, the same thing that we see with the Nation of Islam, as well as also with the Hebrew Israelites, The same thing. You are not just one thing. You are the Asiatics, as Prophet Abdrali and even the Nation of Islam and the Nation of God's and Earth teach. That you're Asiatics, but we're not black. But we're not black. Right.
That sealed it right there.
Yeah, there's like I stated, only one people with the show teeth, and those are the Native Americans. How did you, as Africans, get them damn Native American teeth in your damn mouth if you're not the Native American? See, this is where DNA kills all mythology. See, this is where this happens at. So these individuals, so this is a violation of international law, for they have willfully neglected to deal with this fact. Since the time that the former president of the United States, William J. Clinton, or Billy Bob himself, had issued an executive order to compel states and federal agencies to uphold human rights. The federal, state, and local corporate democracies have done a horrible job towards enforcement. See the Virginia Racial Integrity Act of 1924, which is with Walter Plucker, his information as it spread through the nation. Executive Order 13107, International Convention of the Elimination of All Forms of Racial Discrimination, CERF, Treaty of 1965. C, the Convention of Rights and Duties of States, Inter-American, December 26, 1933, 55A, C, and 56. United States Statutes at Large, 59, Statute 1031 through 1218. United Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People, 2007, in toto. 11 versus Virginia, 388, United States 1, 1967. Article 6 of the Constitution for the United States of America, 1787 through 1791. The Bouvier's Law Dictionary or Dictionary of Law, 1856, Maxims of Law. The maxim law, Salus Populi est Suprema Lex, which means the safety of the people is the supreme law. So they say that police are supposed to protect the people, but really they are there to enforce policies of the municipalities. Municipalities. That's who they're there for. All right, and the general statutes of the state. And those statutes supersedes natural law, human rights. Jura sanguinis, nolo, juri civilly, dirimi, post as supreme lex, the safety, the people of, the right of blood and kinship cannot be destroyed by any civil law. So jura sanguinis, nolo, juri, civilly, dirimi, can it destroy DNA? Your DNA now states that you are indigenous to here. And they're accepting chiefs with 3.1%, in which that they just had laws that stated that if you was 1/4, in other words, 25% native, indigenous, then you would be classified as Indian. Well, I'm here to tell you that all of us have that, and I can prove it. So let's continue on. Magna culpa dolus est. Great neglect is equivalent to fraud. Once a fraud, always a fraud. just as Fordham, Lumacoquam cohabitate. Right and forward never goes together. All right? Right and forward never goes together. Fortis S Dolis Minimi Petro Cianori Debent, which means fraud and deceit should excuse no man. Fortis S Cianori for them. It is fraud to conceal a fraud. Dolus actoris non necessity, which means the fraud of a possessor does not prejudice the successor. So the fraud of a possessor, which is we're talking about these $5 Indians, their fraud does not prejudice the successor, and we will be successful. Otherwise, the ancestors wouldn't have given us this information. So here's Chief Pushmataha, who was the real chief of the Choctaw Nation, 1764 to 1824. And as you see here, you can see him. And what would you say that his complexion is? He is one of the copper-colored natives, right or wrong. So how do we go from that to this? Because they don't look copper-colored to me. They don't look copper-colored to me.
Wow.
So now, this is Chief Philip Martin, longtime tribal chief of the Mississippi Band of the Choctaw. Now look at his complexion. He's a real chief. Right or wrong? Yeah,
Right.
yeah. He definitely looked different than these chiefs.
That's that bullshit.
Right? He looked different. I would say that he's more us than he is them. As you see clearly, Chief Pushmataha is he could be my grandfather.
Peace. You, as y'all notice, right? A lot of these conversations is kind of repetitive because a lot of us know the information and we know that they hiding it. So you have to kind of cross-reference it and use what you got for people to be able to identify with who they are. Definitely shout out to Dr. Eileen Bay. I'll go part 2 to this morning, and we're gonna go further in. I'm gonna probably pull up some more tribes because we're gonna work our way. We started with the Cherokee, but we went into Massachusetts, Connecticut. We saw the Wapanaki. We're gonna go further in tomorrow, so the Pinkwats. We're gonna also go back, so more Montauk, our way all the way to Florida, and we're gonna test of what these tribes look like. Okay, and we're going to look for the imposter and look for the copper color Aborigines. So with that being said, man, peace to everybody, peace to all the Aborigines, North, South, Central, and the conjoining islands. AP is up next. I actually got to run. I got to pick my daughter up. But like I said, if you like to donate, please donate. Keep the channel running. Keep everything up and running. The Cash App is on the channel. Other than that, don't donate. Just hit the like button, and that'll be good for the people, man. So with that being said, peace to the gods, peace to the goddesses. Like I said, in the morning time, I will run this back. We will present another heavyweight jam. But I know AP, the way he gonna do it's gonna be a heavyweight jam. So I'll see you guys over there. So peace to everybody, man. See you on the other side. Peace.